Hi everyone. Today I invited Calvin for this particular interview, and I'm very happy. It's quite interesting because for me, Calvin is overseas as well, and I'm in the Netherlands. Calvin is in the United States of America, and even um, though we have this long physical distance, you see that you can still connect with each other, and yeah, you can really put beautiful things out there either way, and that is what I'm quite happy about. Um, what I want to put some light on in this episode is Kelvin and I met each other via internet as well, via a group about vegans, a community, and then I think I reacted on a post of yours, and then your response was of that kind that I really thought, well, oh, this is really great. Let's connect with each other and see and explore, yeah, what we have in common in this, and what we can reach people as well. And so then we got to know each other with a meeting, an online meeting with my partner as well. And then we thought, yeah, let's see what can come out of this, right?
Absolutely.
And yeah, and what is quite interesting is that I wanted to put some light on uh, what is very actual in this time of year in January. There are a lot of people that are doing vegan challenge, or also called veganuary, and that is also a topic that I wanted to talk about with Calvin. Plant-based nutrition, vegan lifestyle, but also exercise, because that is also an expertise of Calvin, and he will tell a lot more about it, of course. And so I was thinking, well, Calvin is a great person that we can talk about this with. So thank you very much, Calvin.
Welcome.
And yeah, I'm really curious, and I guess the audience as well. Can you introduce yourself? Tell us more about you and what you're doing.
Absolutely. Had to put the phone on airplane mode real quick. You know how people like to call
Okay,
in the middle
great, thank
thing.
you. Yeah.
But they love to do that. You'll be completely like unbusy, and then all of a sudden, as soon as you
Yes,
start to do something, that's when people want to call you.
indeed.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Kelvin. My business is khpfitness and training, and I've also been vegan for 4 years. It'll be 5 years in March that I've been
Right.
vegan. I had to make that transition due to health reasons. Is what I did it for. Then became ethical after
Mhm.
such. I
Mhm.
believe it's not where you train, it's how you train. So people needing the big gyms and all the excuses. I'm an excuse taker. That's what I do. I snatch excuses from people. So all of the excuses
Great.
that people say that they don't have a place to train or they don't know what to eat, I
Yeah.
provide that information and provide that mindset for them through health and fitness to get them to a better place, because I believe, you're stronger than what you think you are.
Yeah, definitely. Wonderful. So that is. Can you tell us from where you're from in the USA?
Okay, well, I'm originally from Texas.
Mhm.
Moved from Texas to California for a little bit, but then New York with our grandpa. But we finally stationed in Fort Lauderdale and Miami area for a while. Went
Mhm.
back to Texas for a little bit, then came to Melbourne, Florida, and that's where I've been since 2001. Is where I've been when it came to our family transition.
Okay, great. So we'll hear more about what you told in your introduction. My first question to you is, we were talking about being vegan, and that it's almost 5 years that you have been vegan. And I want to ask you, you said first it was for health reasons, and I want to ask you if you want to tell your experience and how it came about and what you experienced yourself and what it did for you, why you made this choice, and yeah, tell us what you want to tell us about it.
Absolutely. Well, when it came to me, like I said, first health reasons. It came to me because when we're growing up, we're preview to our parents. We get disposed to whatever they get disposed to. So when you typically hear hereditary, it's especially when it comes to nutrition, it's
Yeah.
typically you develop the same diseases as your family because you eat the same thing that they eat. You have the
Yes.
same habits. So that's what I
Indeed.
was. I was a smaller guy, but I still suffered over time from just eating the wrong things over time. Especially was first thing was it was a gluten intolerance that I didn't know that I had.
Okay.
I thought it was normal. Like
Interesting.
after I ate cookies and milk and everything of that
Yeah.
nature, I thought it was normal just to feel that way and have to run to the restroom. And you don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So as time progressed, it felt worse and it was longer situations. So even when I was with my fiance, I remember for one of our anniversaries, because we every 15th we go out, and then this 15th we'll do the same.
Mm-hmm.
January. So I was out with her and we were at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I noticed that like before that I was unable to make a movement. Like I was like
Oh.
completely I was in the restroom for like 30, 40 minutes, couldn't make a movement and just feeling like garbage. When I went out with her, like it was so bad that when I had a plate of wings in front of me, I didn't even want to touch them because I was just so full and
Oh, right.
just feeling all crazy inside. And I was like super close to like going to see a gastrointestinal doctor because of
Wow.
everything. So I was researching, the plant-based and vegan
Mm-hmm.
nutrition and everything 6 months before because I like to do my research. And I
Okay.
ran into YouTubers like Vegan Games and John Venus and a couple of different ones. And
Yes.
once I looked into the nutrition and they had a lot of good stuff to say, and I
Yes.
tried it out.
Interesting.
I tried out for a little bit, and I was like, I think I can do this. But for me, I need to supplement everything that
Yeah.
I have, find a vegan version of everything I had before I could transition.
Yes. Yes,
So
indeed.
it was actually pretty easy for me because I'm so structured. So once I did my research, I was able to find quite a few things. So after what I first started with the vegan protein shake, brown rice,
Right.
kidney beans, black beans, and spinach. That's all I would eat
Great.
all day. Like,
Okay.
but even something that simple, like
Yep.
within a week, it like corrected my dietary issues.
I can imagine.
I was able to, correct that issue because I was able to get more fiber. I was already a pretty adamant water drinker, but my body just couldn't take meats or anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I told a buddy of mine, I had all this like salmon and everything in the fridge. I was like, hey man, you want this? Come get it. Like I was like, I want nothing to do with it. He was like, you sure? I was like, yeah man, get it out of here. And from that point on, I never went back. So I just started getting, better with that. And then it became more ethical. I started watching films like Earthlings. Earthlings was the first one I watched, and just seeing that rough side of how vicious those animals are treated. Like I didn't even know that cows were like inseminated to produce milk because they never present that to you. They always make it seem like the cows are just
happy.
just have all this extra milk.
Yeah, they're happy doing it, and indeed, yeah.
Yeah, it was a mess. So yeah, that's how I.
So that part came with films, for example,
Yes.
movies, and okay, interesting. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So that's how I got into my transition. It was health reasons first, and then and the fact that it saved me from having to see a gastrointestinal doctor. At least until I'm like 45, 50 when you have to go. But other than that, it was a good deal. So being able to do that definitely told me myself, I was like, oh, well, I can't go back now. There's no reason.
Great. So it felt so good. It had so many benefits, not only for your health as well, but also in other ways, um, your overall well-being actually. Because when you also
Yes.
feel good about the ethical part of it, and that is also what I said before. We have a product line which is called Comfort and Conscience.
Mm-hmm.
If your conscience is at ease as well, then it's also good for your overall well-being.
Agreed.
Because it's interesting because to us, my partner and I, we also did it for when eating plant-based, also for our own health. But to me, actually, it was um, um, actually at the first time that I heard about it, it was about the health issue, but also you can call it ethical, but it was also an energetic thing, an energetic or
Ah,
people
gotcha.
can call spiritual thing, because I at one point heard about or read about that um, yeah, animals actually also do have feelings, and if they are, I will be blunt about it because it's just a fact. We don't have to sugarcoat it or something.
Sure.
If they are being slaughtered, then they're being killed. Then they also have fear energy, also have pain and trauma. And when they
Yep.
say you are what you eat, right? Then you're always also taking that stress, that energy, that anxiety, that everything
That's true.
in you as well. So that's also an energetic thing. And for me, actually, that's the greatest part, because when you're energetically at stress, or so to say, that also has effect on your DNA. So it's your overall well-being, holistically, from a viewed from a holistic point of view.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, it also has effect on yourself, but it's also like you don't want other beings to suffer for you, right? Why would you do that? It doesn't make you feel better either.
Right.
And so to me, it was a combination of all, but it's very important indeed, for people to know that it's also beneficial for their health and well-being in many ways, and that it's not only because of, yeah, we care about animals
Yeah, you're right.
and
And
or the environment, because there's also quite
yeah,
sustainability for a lot of
I
people.
wanted to elaborate on that too. So one of the things that I noticed too was the energy byproduct of it too.
Hmm.
So I used to, like you said, you fall into a lot of things. I was really, and I never was a bodybuilder. People consider me a bodybuilder now,
Hmm.
but like I do resistance training as a part of look, and I know what the benefit of having a good amount of muscle, lean muscle on you, especially.
Yeah.
So I would do things like eating like 6, 7 eggs in the morning, but then
Right.
even egg whites, like even then, like after I would have to like take a nap after, and I was like, something's wrong here. And I wake up from a full night's sleep, eat some
Same.
food, and then have to go right back to sleep for an hour before I can get my workout. It's crazy. So I was
Interesting.
like,
Yeah.
something had to be wrong there, you know what I'm saying? But you don't notice these things because that's just typical to you. Everything seems normal until you know better, Oh,
True.
that's crazy. My alarms always reminding me to stay on track.
Okay.
I
Great.
put a voice recording to myself to remind me. But yeah,
Okay.
that was a big thing too. So I did notice as I progressed on, not only from the constipation things of nature, but my energy levels
Hmm.
were dropping. Indeed, there was a couple of things I just didn't feel like doing, because of
Interesting.
that. So that makes a lot of sense what you're
Yeah.
saying too. Energetic. You ingest it and you get the stress, you get all of the anxiety, everything that they went through.
Indeed.
And I noticed I have been a lot calmer too. Just byproduct. This is all anecdotal, but it's just something I experienced and with
Yeah.
clients. So it's anecdotal at first until I start hearing my clients say the same thing. Like I always ask people when they transition over to vegan, how do you feel? And they be like, man, like the energy levels are crazy. Like,
Indeed.
big
Wonderful.
thing.
And that is the thing about it, right? Because it's most of the time it's in hindsight. So people say, well, what could it do for me? I'm feeling great. I'm feeling wonderful, right? So what would it yeah, what would it add to my life? And I have a lot of energy. I'm feeling great, and but it's something that you really have to experience yourself. It's
True.
You can't just yeah. It's something that you learn in hindsight, actually, most of the time.
That's very true, and I think enough people don't give it enough time. You know, we expect this like quick, like everybody wants this quick response.
Yes.
Because of, you know, and I blame things like social media. Everything is like at a glance. Everything is quick. Boom, boom, boom. Like quick. What do they call it? Instant gratification.
Yeah, indeed.
So the bad thing about instant gratification is that if it doesn't happen quickly, nobody pays attention to it.
Indeed.
But you allow yourself. I tell people, even when it comes to training with me, if you can't give me 6 months to a year, you're not serious about your training. So if you're not serious, you're not going to get results in 2 months when it's going to take me literally 2 months to restructure your brain from the regular thinking that you were doing.
Yeah. So, and then the workout on your physical awareness as well.
It's an entire product, you know. It's like it's a package that you have.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, thank you. I already asked that when it started and what it did for you. So, why could it be beneficial for others to adopt a vegan lifestyle, or at least eat plant-based? We already said something about it, but I'm sure that you can tell more about it because you're also working with people and supporting them in that. So.
Absolutely. So, you know, I believe, not just I believe, that it's a fact. If you can either, like some people will say like, oh, it's more expensive, things of this nature, but they don't know the base products like rice and beans and the staples that will actually support you are not expensive at all in comparison, you know? So I tell them you're either going to, even if such, you're either going to pay a little bit more upfront or you're going to pay for more medications on the back.
Yes, indeed.
So that's a benefit in itself, is being able to be in a situation where you're not paying for medications in your 40s and 50 years old on things like, you know, diabetes and insulin shots that you could have avoided, you know. And another thing I would say is, you know, like you said, you get the benefits of the energy and such, but you get to also show, like if you have children, you get to show them a better way, while, you know, not almost, you know, like hypocritical, and you're almost a hypocrite in a way to be talking about health and fitness or having animals, because that disconnect, and then you have like dogs and cats, but you're eating chickens and, you know, cows and everything. When they feel the same, and they're essentially smarter, as the studies show too. So that's another benefit too. Is like you can basically practice what you preach. If you really love animals, you can't not put steak on your plate.
This is a topic that people really have to be conscious about, because as I said, we have spoken before, and I thought that you told it quite wonderfully. Is that people aren't aware, aren't conscious about the duality that is implanted in people that they aren't aware of, because it is created somewhere. It is not that people do always do want to discriminate, actually, because that's what they're doing. That's what and say that, okay, this animal is my favorite and I want to pet it and hug it, etc., and take good care of it, and the other one, well, okay, I say I take good care of it, but at the end I will kill it, and then you know, it's not that people do it, at least most of us, I guess, don't do it on purpose or with that intent. And you were telling something about that I thought you did quite wonderfully. So can you tell us about that? About how?
Absolutely. There's a huge it's a huge disconnect. That's what I like to call it.
Indeed.
It's because, you know, like a lot of people don't even, like you said, they're not even aware that they're doing it, like, because you don't connect the two, that all of these are animals at the end of the day. You just see that, you know, maybe a pig isn't as cute as a cat,
Mm-hmm.
or as cute as a dog or something